Yo, what is up, guys? What is poppin'? We are here with semifinals for the NPL Season 5, and we are facing our good friend Sebby, aka coach of the Montreal Monfernos, aka Season 4 champion. So, on our way to the finals this season, we have to take out the defending champion, and he has a super annoying team, and I don't like my matchup as much, but I built a fun team, and I'm super proud of the team I built, so I decided to do a team builder before we hop into the match and go over my thought process. So, Sebby has a squad around Z Magierna with Gothhotel, Mega Absol. Let's see if I get them all. Mega Absol, Salamand, Jellicent, Amungas, Donphan, um, Z Raichu, Golisopod, Alolan Golem, and Infernape. These are his mons. Very, very strong squad for sure, but um, like the thing is, it's like not the craziest squad in the league in my opinion. Like it has some holes for sure that are kind of exploitable, but the thing is, Magierna is a mon that you absolutely have to over prep for, and even if you have some checks, Gothita can probably remove them, which is unfortunate. Also, like Infernape can break some fat steals that Magierna doesn't appreciate. Um, Mega Absol can trap some stuff like super fat psychics that can usually take a hit or two, but they are usually set up for the Command variant. But the Gothitelle is like pretty good versus my team because all season or most of the season I brought a lot of really fat stuff with Alamomola, Ferrothorn, Clefable, and shit like that. All those mons are easily trapped by Gothitelle and had to play around those by while also prepping for every variant of Magierna, like Trick Room, like Carmine, like Shift Gear Carmine, like Shift Gear 3 attack with Z moves, like Assault Vest, like Specs, like everything. And yeah, this is pretty fucked, but yeah, as I said, I'm proud of the team that I built. I really struggled building for like over a week. This match was hella late. I think it was like 5 or 6 days later than it should have been done. But all like but all playoffs matches have been like a little late, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, I struggled a lot during the prep, and then it hit me that I like my semi-skull techs wouldn't work in this matchup. I knew my hyper offense wouldn't work in this matchup because hyper offense like can easily be counter sweep by Infernape or Salamence or Shift Magierna. Um, is complete stall like without any offensive offensive power behind it cannot work. So I went back to my roots and brought a team that probably like Gen 6 Aki would have built too. This bulky offense that pretty much playstyle that I think I'm one of the best in the world using, and um, it's a very very fun squad. So the thing is like the idea I had when I built this team was um, that I tried not to be weak to Gothitelle, that my entire squad, or almost my entire squad, can handle Gothitelle depending on the set, as well as not being weak to Magierna at all. Like, I wanted to have the option that with every mon on my squad, that I could stay in with it, and versus pretty much every mon on his side, and attack it, or have the option to go out into a mon that is better suited to take a hit. Like, every mon on my team can chew at least one hit from every mon on his team. That's how I designed the squad pretty much. So in case I need to go for damage to open up a hole for one of my offensive threats, I can do that. And if I need to, if I need to switch out because I want to preserve a mon, I can pretty much like just switch out and either find the right fodder or have a mon that actually choose two hits from a mon on Sebby's side and go from there. So the first one that I put on the team and the first one that I came up with to start the squad with that really like put my mind on bringing bulky offense versus Sebby is Clefable. And Clefable here usually easily trapped by Gothitelle. I toyed around with some Scarf sets that can't be tricked obviously with some Shed Shell into a Alolan Mug, but I wasn't satisfied at all. So I decided to go with Unaware, Calm Mind, Moonblast, Fire Blast. Sebby's only fairy resist is the Magierna, and Magierna drops to um, 2+1 Fire Blast unless it's AV. So um, Magana here, as it holds his die inside, so it can't be trapped by, oh, not Magana, Clefable here, my girl Meridia, holds the die inside, so it can't be trapped by Gothitel. If he brings a Calm Mind Rest Gothitel, I beat this 1 vs 1 because I'm unaware. I don't see him bring Toxic Gothitel because, like, that only traps really my Alomomola, and Calm Mind Gothitel does the job equally as well. So no way Toxic Gothitel is coming, and if I prevent rocks, he won't know that I'm unaware, which could come in quite handy. Um, investment is here to get certain 2KOs and OKOs, like 12 special attack investment allows me to OKO, like, I think Calm 100 death Among Us after rocks and the spike. So pretty neat, pretty neat. I just put enough speed, like as much speed as possible on this thing, so I can outspeed Magearna, like a slightly invested Magearna, slightly invested Jellicent, slightly invested Gothitel. I really want to be faster than those to get to +1 before they do, because with this investment here, like, I can shoot a Specs Flash Cannon if need be at +1. I think it does like 75 max, and I can pretty much scout for damage if I'm at full, because then I like, can just softball up if he's fast. If I have identified his set, or like calm it up a second time if he's slower than I am, and then like Specs Flash Can is not a 2KO, I'm pretty sure. The physical defense allows me to not take more than, I think, 75 from Jolly Mega Absol Iron Tail. I chew Flare Blitzes from Inferno reasonably well. Gunk Shot, unless he's like boosting an item, um, does not outcome me after rocks, which was important. Like that were Iron Tail from Epsilon Salamence and Flare Blitz from and Gunk Shot from Inferno were the benchmarks I want to hit here, and then I was able to put the rest in speed. So this mon can pretty much set up on Gothitel. It's the only Clefable in the world that probably can beat a Carmine trick Gothitel 1 vs 1, or Common Rest Gothitel 1 vs 1 without running Shadow. So pretty hype set here for sure. It can also set up a set on Jellicent. It can set up on Among Us if he doesn't attack the Clear Smoke or the Spore. I have a designated sleep fort on his squad, so if he's, let's say, Spore Sludge from Giga Drain and HP 5 from my Ferrothorn, this Clefable can beat the Among Us 1 vs 1, which is clean. It can set up on Salamence while also checking DD-Mans very well. It can't set up on special Infernape unless he runs Nasty Plot, because then he obviously overpowers me. Oh no, he doesn't, because I'm unaware, I'm stupid. But yeah, if it's like Life or Fire Blast do a lot unless I set up +1, and then like I can abuse Infernape as setup for that. Can't set up on a defensive Dawnfan because Earthquake doesn't 2KO. I think his best bet is to 2KO is to run some attack on Dawnfan to get bigger chip off on Clef, but um, he might need Dawnfan for Scolipede, because Scolipede actually runs through Sebby's team, but besides the Jellicent, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is a Clefable, probably the set that I'm most proud of that I brought all season, like the best set I came up with all season in my opinion. And I found a very solid partner for this, because in order for Clefable to win, I need to weaken some stuff. I need to be able to chip Magearna, chew hits from Magearna if need be. And I brought my Zapdos here, Wise Glasses, kind of speedy Zapdos. Discharge Heatwave, Roost Substitute. And not, like, these were the two sets that I started the squad with Gallade being the third, and then I went from there. Shout out to Gypsy King for discussing a little bit with me. Like, he didn't like gave me sets or anything, but as always, we discussed the squad, and he made some nice points that should like should come in handy in the match. But this Zapdos here, enough speed for Magearna. I didn't need any more speed, because I don't expect him to bring like max speed Salamence. I think the bulky Mance is probably his best bet, as it checks Mega Gallade and Scolipede decently well if he brings it. It can like chew a hit or two from Greninja unless I run Ice Cream, obviously. So I figured Bulky Mance is probably his best bet, and I just want enough speed for Magierna in order to discharge it and 2 KO it with Heatwave. Modest 116 Wise Glasses allows me to 2 KO max HP Magierna with Heatwave, as well as like the standard or like not max specially defensive Amoonguss after rocks with Heatwave. Um, if it's like calm and 100 speed depth or so, I 2 KO that after rocks, which is nice. Substitute I can scout for Spore, while also like subbing up on stuff like weaker attacks from Dawnfin. I think an uninvested knockoff doesn't break my sub. I can sub up on a potential sack if you sack something to spikes as well, because Zapdos like with discharge and Heatwave actually puts in quite some work versus his squad. Yes, Gothitelle could beat me 1v1, but he needs some clean SPDEF investment to come in hard on Zapdos, because like if I go for discharge and he's like just max HP, max defense with some speed or so, I 3 KO him on the switch, and he can rest up on the second discharge, but then he's like 2 KO because like discharge does like 33 to 37 or something versus Gothitelle if he's uninvested, or even up to 39. So it's not like a designated. It's not like Gothitelle is designated switch into Zapdos. Um, Substitute is also here to scout for a Specs Magierna, because if he leads Magierna, like Zapdos is my designated lead unless he brings some super funky stuff like Alolan Golem, Raichu, and let's say, yeah, that's pretty much it. If he brings those two, I might not lead with Zapper, but with Paliswan instead. But besides that, this is my designated lead. And Substitute allows me to scout for a Specs Magierna lead, because if he Fleur Cannons on my Substitute, drops to -2, and I can chew the hit from Magierna after that. So I live any non-Specs Fleur Cannon after rocks. I don't live Specs hits, obviously, but or Z moves like Z Flurkin and don't shoot, but I can always scout by going for sub. I can also sub up on stuff like Jelly Sand. Scout doesn't break the sub from my investment. I can sub up on Special Inferno potentially if he like misses or so, or if he like is out of PP. I can, or if he comes in on me to break his sub, I can potentially PP stall his Fire Blast or something, which is nice. I can sub up on an Amoonguss Spore, and like as I said, I have designated Sleep Fodder, and if Amoonguss runs Spore, he has to choose between 3 out of the following 5 moves: Clear Smog, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Foul Play, HP Fire. The only move out of those 5 that can break a sub is Sludge Bomb. If he runs Sludge Bomb, he has probably Giga Drain, because otherwise he loses to Alamomola 1v1 if I'm so toxic. He needs Giga Drain because Gren is a thing, Piloswine is a thing, so that's a guaranteed camp. And if he runs those two, either my Pharaoh always gets up spikes versus him, my Clefable gets, because he can't run HP Fire, my Clefable can set up in his face because he doesn't have Clear Smog, or my Gallic can set up in his face with the SD because he doesn't have Foul Play, which means once he spored my designated fodder, one of these 3 mons here just abuse Amoonguss, which is pretty important to me. Like, I don't have the best Amoonguss answers, but with those 3, I can abuse any Amoonguss set that he could throw at me. If he brings AV with Giga Drain, Foul Play, Sludge Bomb, and Clear Smog, like that's a smart bring, but that would mean that he's completely underprepped for Ferrothorn, because his Ferrothorn answers are kind of limited, because he doesn't want to go hard Infernape on every Ferrothorn, or go hard into Absol with a Fire Blast or something, which has potentially Fire Blast or something, because then I can always get up spikes, or just get a big hit off like Gyro Ball, probably Oko's Absol or something. I don't know, but yeah, those 3 monster cover the Amoonguss perfectly. I have enough special attack to 2-hit KO Salamence guaranteed. If his max HP, I get 2-hit KO him after rocks. I 2-hit KO Donphan unless he's like specially invested after a spike, which is amazing. Like he doesn't have a mon that can come in hard on this Zapdos that is not 2-hit KO or 3-hit KO, which is absolutely wild. So Substitute obviously also nice to sub up in front of an obvious sack. Like if I bring this in on a -2 Magierna or something, and he has a low Infernape or something in the back with spikes up, that's pretty much dead to spikes, I can sub up because the sack is coming, and then like I can abuse that. So Zapdos here pretty nice, pretty nice. Insane build versus team. Like it choose any one hit. As I said, like every mon on my team choose any one hit besides specs hits from beginner, and every mon on my team probably has an answer for those specs hit, and I can easily scout for the specs by subbing up early game with Zapdos, for example. The next mon, the MVP of the squad all season, Mega Gallade. Can't not bring it to this match. Close combat, Zen Headbutt, X Scissor Swords, and at +2 with 196 Adamant Nature. It actually OHKOs everything on my opponent's squad, bar defensive mans, which I think max HP mans I guaranteed OHKO at +2 after Intimidate after Rocks, and Jellicent. Jellicent is OHKO though after Stealth Rocks and the Spike, I'm fairly sure. If he's max defense, or he's like, or need maybe 2 spikes, or like some chip on it. But I like the roll is definitely in my favor, or I just 2 KO. I kind of forgot, but doesn't matter. The speed, like you see, I don't run any speed on Gallade. The reason is Sebby's squad has 3 speedy mons: Raichu, Mega Absol. Mega Absol speeds can kill me with foul play. No one running speed. Raichu, I have this thing to check it, and I bring my Pillow Swine to this game as well as another ground. And Flygon, not a threat. Salamence, I already said I don't expect him to run speed, and if he does, he does. I don't care. I 2KO him in the switch, and he can't switch into once with rocks up on a Zen Headbutt, and I can go from there. I much rather invest into Bulk, which allows me to never be 2KO'd after rocks by a foul play from Scarf Goth, which is important. This mon can set up on a Mungas, like I take like 30, 35 from a Sludge Bomb, excuse me. I can like just click Zen Head, but if he has a Scarf Gothitelle with enough speed to outspeed Mega Gallade or like my or like a non-protect Scolipede, I actually 2 KO with the combination of Zen Headbutt into X Scissor unboosted after Stealth Rocks, which means he goes down, which is nice. And if he goes like Hard Goth and I'm goes +2 on the switch, he cannot knock me out after rocks, and I can just bop it with the X Scissor. X Scissor guaranteed OHKOs. OHKOs max defense Gothitelle without rocks being up even. Like it does 100% minimum, so that's nice. Yeah. Gallade also means that I can shoot any one hit from Infernape. Scarf Infernape, Flare Blitz does not OHKO me after 2 rock switch-ins at -1. Like if I go for a close combat to kill something and he brings in Scarf Infernape, he does 87.4 max, so pretty clean bolt there. But like the bolt here is mainly for Gothitelle, so that I don't so that I shoot foul plays fairly well. Also obviously helps versus Amoonguss. It helps versus Salamence unless he runs like Fly or something. I chew an aerial ace from full easily. He does like 70 max if he's uninvested, which he could be. And if he's invested, I'd live 1 aerial ace up the rocks if he's like jolly max attack. So that's pretty clean too. Yeah, as I said, this thing just bobs everything. OHKOs Raichu, OHKOs Alone Golem, 2 hit KOs, the life support puts it in emergency exit range after Stealth Rocks. It bobs Amoonguss. If he has Payapa Berry, so be it. I get huge damage off, which means he can't really come in on my Greninja anymore, or like on my Zapdos or my Clef. This Gallade can function as a late game cleaner, but also as a mid game breaker, which is really nice. I don't set up on too much depending on what he brings, but I can potentially set up on Dawnfen. Earthquake is not a 2 KO if he's defensive, and I can bop this thing after a spike with the +2 close combat, so it's nice. But I don't set up on too much. I don't set up on Mance. I don't set up on Goth unless Goth is not foul play. I don't set up on Magearna because I have to attack it. Close combat does over 50 to Magearna, so this is nice. With the speed, I actually I hit 130 upon Mega Evolving, so I outspeed Magearna, which is nice. And yeah, like that's pretty much it. Like I don't need to outspeed anything because after Salamence, his next fastest mon is actually Gothitelle or Magearna at 65, and I outspeed those. So there's like a huge gap between base run and 65. and I felt like I would abuse this speed gap, like with my Gallade. So next mon on my squad, Pillow Swine here. Probably my best rocker against him because it beats his removal 1 vs 1 in form of Dawnfan and Salamence, which I think is only ways of removal. Earthquake guaranteed Oko's offensive Magearna after a spike, I think. Ice Crash Oko's Mans, even at -1, I think, after rocks. Ice Shard is like a backup option besides Clefable for Mans because I don't want Clefable to take too much unnecessary chip. If he's like a DD variant, I can just Ice Shard it. I get Rocks up versus everything. Nothing can Oko me from full. Specs Magearna Flash Can does 99.5% max with my investment, which is absolutely insane. I just threw some speed on there to potentially outrun Dawnfan if need be, so I can isolate crash it down or flinch it down unless it's not Dawnfan anymore, which is nice. I think I 2 KO Amungas with the isolate crash unless he's like fully fizz death, which he can't be. Like he has to be like some sort of split death Amungas if he brings it, because my Greninja otherwise goes ham versus him. First death bulk, I think I chew a Flare Blitz or close combat from a Scarf Ape. If he's like live or something, I don't chew, but besides that, Pillow Swine looking clean. Also, I'm never with max HP and 28 defense, I'm never 2 KO'd by +1 Dragon Claw from Mans. So even if it's Yachi Berry, can't beat me 1 vs 1 because he just Ice Shot twice and he can't kill me. Or like I can Ice Crash into Ice Shot or Rocks into Ice Shot if he's weakened already or something. And yeah, he can't beat me 1 vs 1 at all. This thing, as I said, helps with Amungas and Dawnfan. Helps with Absol. I chew any hit from Absol. Yes, a knockoff would hurt. It does like 40, I would say, with the Eviolite, and I don't want to lose my Eviolite. But if I have to, I'm gonna definitely stay in on an Absol and pop it with an Earthquake. I think after rocks, Absol dies to an Earthquake, so this is nice. Gothic Tail can beat this thing 1 vs 1 potentially, but Earthquake I think it's the 3 KO, so if he rests up versus me, I could just 3 KO with Earthquake, unless he's obviously fully Fizz Death or something. Really depending on the set, like this and Zapdos are monsters that can potentially lose to Gothitelle, but maybe they do not. Because if he tricks Pillows when a Scarf, let's say, I can try to flinch him down with Ice Crash, and like 30% is no joke, so if he doesn't play it correctly and or is not a sleep talk variant that can like abuse me faster and has to burn 2 turns of sleep all the time, I can potentially 3 KO him or like 4 KO him with a flinch on the right turn. So this is clean, definitely clean for sure. This investment here in Speed Def also allows me to chew a Light Orb Focus Blast from Infernape after rocks. That's 86.9 or something max, which is nice. And yeah, overall, this is a very solid sponge. I can always go hard into Raichu with this thing. Yes, if he has an all-out pummeling, he bobs me at +2 obviously, but if he doesn't, this thing checks it reliably, and I can use it always as a pivot on a potential Volt Switch from Raikou or Magearna. This thing also checks Alolan Golem, which my squad is pretty much weak to, but yeah, Pillow Swine like pretty reliable wall versus everything. Can shoot hit, dish out hard damage, and get up rocks very reliably. Like even Jealous Sand doesn't really touch me. It does like 40 with Scout if he's uninvested, so that's pretty clean. Next up, I got my Greninja, Surf Dark Bolt, Substitute Spikes, enough speed for Absol. At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring it, but Gypsy made a fair point that I needed something to outspeed Infernape and Absol, because otherwise they could become threats in the late game if everything is weakened. And Greninja like helps versus those two. Obviously resist the Dark Step from Absol, so if it doesn't get too low, he can't knock me off with Sucker Punch. So Spikes just go in versus Sebby. I really wanted them because I can set up Spikes on an Amoonguss switch in, on a Magearna switch in, and try to wear down his grounded mons. Surf Dark Pulse with the black glasses actually 2 KO everything on the squad bar Amoonguss. If he's Fizz Death Amoonguss dies to 2 Dark Pulses after rocks on the spike, so that's clean. And Magearna, if he's offensive shifter with no HP takes like 40 or something, or 45 from a surf anyway. And if he's Assault Vest Magearna, yes, it's an easy switch into Greninja, but it also means that it can't break my squad. And it also means that every time it switches in on Gren, it takes spikes damage and 10% from Dark Bolts or so. which easily chips down Magiana and doesn't make it a threat anymore. Substitute is here for the same reason as Zapdos. I can scout for Spore on Amoonguss, and if he spores on my sub, I can pretty much go hard into Zapdos to abuse his Giga Drain or come in on his Giga Drain for free, and then like fire up a Heat Wave or get up a free sub. And I can scout for the Specs Flurkin, which is absolutely important because at first I wasn't sure what to put in this last spot here. I didn't have substitute on it, but I figured I was so weak to Magiana, I had to like put sub on there to just scout for the Flurkin and burn his hardest hit with the Flurkin because -2 obviously doesn't hit as hard. It's still Bob's Greninja, I think, if he specs at -2, but it gives like Pillow Swan a free switch and if he's at -2, so this is nice. And if he like shift gears on my sub doesn't really matter because I can just get a surf off afterwards, put it in range, and he can't really set up a Calm Mind after that because he's forced to break my sub at some point. Because if he like goes for shift gear after taking spike, he's at 87. As I sub up, he shift gears up. I surf him for like 30 or 40. He's at like 50. He calm minds up, then I surf him again as he breaks my sub, or like I surf him twice as he calm minds up, and he will be at like 40, 35, depending on how much I do, and then he's like easily in range for like unaware Clefable Fire Blast. So um, yeah, it's not really a big deal if he tries to set up in front of my Grand. I can just try to chip it down, maybe get a flinch here or there, and go from there. Dark Pulse also 2 KOs, Mans after Rocks, which is huge. Surf, Bobs, Donphan, and Infernate. Dark Pulse 2 KOs, Goth, and Jellicent easily, even if they are like Kolba, I 2 KO them after Rocks. Um, Raichu's 2 KO'd, alone Golden drops. Rely support takes like 45, so after Rocks is easily an emergency exit. So Greninja very very solid win con depending on what he brings. Like if he doesn't bring the Amoonguss, this Greninja can easily win on its own. So that's pretty clean. And the last one is my Sleep Fall. I bring the Flygon, the mon that came to 2 matches this season, both versus Chip. First time it just died without doing anything, and the second time it didn't hit the field. So this time I'm bringing it, and this is my designated sleep fodder. Yeah, I don't feel great about bringing Flygon to playoffs because Flygon is trash mon. But this thing here serves a very solid purpose in this match because his entire team bar Salamence is grounded, and I can easily go for a Choice Scarf Earthquake Sweep with this thing, and like once I remove Mance, or if he doesn't bring it, I can always spam Earthquake Revenge something. I outrun Absol obviously with the Choice Scarf and U-turn out, bobs him after Rocks and the Spike. And the Earthquake, like, while it doesn't do much, like, it really doesn't do much versus most of his stuff, it can pick off weakened mons. So Flygon can also always come on Amoonguss to try to scout for the Spore. As you see, like, I really overprep for Amoonguss, but my team doesn't match up too well versus Spore Gust. So gotta be mindful of that. This investment allows me to chew a Sucker Punch from Absol easier, as well as living like I lived some stupid hit. I forgot what it was, or like I'm not too sure, but some stupid hit. I think like I just lived Flare Blitzes. Flare Blitz is better from Infernate and shit like that. But Earthquake, U-turn, Sleep Talk, only 3 moves here. Pretty obvious. I don't want to Sleep Talk myself into Dragon Claw or Outrage. I much rather, if he goes Mance on this set, I much rather get the U-turn out. And at first I want to run like only Earthquake and Sleep Talk to like be sure that I lock myself um into Earthquake every time, but I figured um U-turn would be nice so I can't get trapped by Goth itself. So um yeah, didn't want that to happen. And that's pretty much the team. As I said, super proud of the squad. I'm like I'm like really happy with how I prepared. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Team Builder, and we will hop into the battle. Let me like um delete this scene here on OBS, and yeah, let's hop right into it. So as you see, my opponent didn't bring the Amoonguss, so all the overprepping for Amoonguss wasn't really worth it, but it still helps me. Like the substitute on Gran and Zephyros can still come in handy if he like tries to sack something to one of those mons, and then we can go from there. But my opponent brought the Brought the Magiana, obviously, brought the Inferno, brought the Mega Absol, brought Mance, which was really surprising. I didn't expect Mance, and Donphan I really saw Jellicent and Among Us in this spot, and he obviously brought the Gothita. No surprises there, but yeah, Mance, not a problem. Like I was really happy when I saw Mance over Among Us, and Donphan and Jellicent were kind of a toss up. I figured Jellicent was a safer play versus Scolipede, but with Absol, not with Absol, with Thingy's Intimidate here, he's like not too weak to Scolipede, I would say. So that's fair with me. As I said, I'm definitely leading Zapdos, and looking at my opponent's squad, Zapdos just goes in once I remove the Gothitelle or weakened it or got up enough layers. Really fucks him up, and Clefable also, like, once I identify his Inferno step, if he's physical or and has the Gang Shot, and once I see like what kind of Magiana it is and what kind of speed it has, Clefable can win on its own. Same with this thing, but he obviously brings his 3 speedy mons, which I didn't expect, and potentially like Scarf Goth. So I have to play Gallade carefully. Pillow looking clean, pretty much gets a huge chip off on everything. And Greninja, like look at Greninja. Ooh, if this is offensive, Magina, 2K out of the Spike and Rocks, O-Code, O-Code by Surf after Rocks and the Spike, 2K out by Dark Pulse, 2K out by Dark Pulse, O-Code by Surf. So Greninja, big threat versus him. But as I said, my dedicated lead versus this kind of squad is Zapdos, so I decided to lead right off with it. I see it leads Magina. Magina, as I said, I'm surprised to lead off with it. Probably tells me that he's not a shift gear variant because you wouldn't allow a shift gear variant to get damaged early in the game. So I'm like more convinced this is either AV, either bulky Calm Mind, or either Specs, and covering all those potential sets as substitute. If he's not Specs and goes for Voltage here, like if he's a Calm Mind, if he's a Solvus variant, he doesn't break my sub unless he's like. No, I think he can't break my sub with the Volt Switch, which is nice. And like if he's Specs, he will go for the Flurkin here. I can burn that with the substitute and take not EVs, two PPs away from it. So that's pretty clean. And yeah, I can see what he wants to do. And if he like switches out half into God, he can't trick me afterwards. So that's cool. Goes for the Flurkin turn one, and yeah, drops a special attack. Like the way Flurkin here tells me that, or like makes me think that he is Specs, but I'm not convinced yet. I'm just gonna stay in Heatwave here. I really contemplated Discharge, and I think Heatwave was kind of a misplay because Discharge actually, depending on his set, like if he's a fully fisted God with some speed, Discharge is a 3 KO versus it guaranteed, especially if he doesn't have the leftovers. So definitely should have gone for that, but I tried to cover him staying in and go for like a slow Volt Switch, as well as Donphan coming in to try and prevent rocks if he's like offensive or something. So I go for the Heat Wave. I see goes hard Gothita. I tried to like not get trapped with Zapdos by Goth, but it's fine. Like it's not the end of the world, and depending on the set, I can do a solid solid chunk to this thing. And Heat Wave does 29, so had a discharge here, this would have guaranteed been a 3 KO on Gothitelle here with the discharge. He probably would have been forced at like 65 to rest up. He reveals to be, or told me later that he was arrested to rest up after the second discharge, and then he would have been 3 KO'd. So there was no point in him staying in and second his Gothitelle. So at a discharge, Zapdos actually would have 1v1 this Gothitelle. But yeah, I'm pretty much forced to discharge. I can get the para, and if I can get the para on the Calm Mind, I can probably beat this one versus one. I discharge, get the para, and my opponent gets fully paralyzed in this turn. Very unfortunate for him. Like we never want um hacks to determine playoff outcomes, but obviously I take it if like that's the reason why I run discharge to para stuff to slow down stuff to maybe get a little lucky there. Obviously like that's not it's not like yeah I can just discharge him and one versus one him, but if discharge puts a matchup in my favor, I will definitely use that. So I discharge once more. He's kind of forced to rest here, but he gets paralyzed again. So even if he got the rest here, I would have 3 KO'd him afterwards, so I would have been forced to switch out and probably not been able to trap my Zapdos again because he would have been asleep. So the one para already coming in clutch. So I can just knock out this God to tell here and go from there. He was like kind of mad after this first turn of events, but I don't think it like mattered too much. Yes, Zapdos being gone would have been nice for Magina, obviously would have been nice for Donphan, because then he could have guaranteed, like could have gone for free rocks most of the time, versus like Clef versus Thingy, and like I just couldn't like it was hard. It would have been harder for me to get damage on the Donphan because Zapdos always covered him like doing some shenanigans with Donphan. But he brings an API. No reason for me to take a Flare Blitz or a Fire Blast. Also, what I want to say about God, like Clefable beats this one versus one. His God set. He said he was Calm Mind, heal block, Side Shock and Rest. Greninja beats that one versus one because can't touch me, and like even Gallade beats this one versus one unless he gets a +4 or something. So I don't think it would have put in so much work, but obviously Zapdos being gone would have been nice for him because it made some would have made some predictions easier. But anyway, Ape comes in. I will go into my Flygon. He has an offensive switch pretty much. I can't shoot any 2 hits he wants to throw at me unless he went for Focus Blast there, but that would have been a try play. I don't think it was his best play there. He wills to be live up, so I can like just U-turn out here with my Scarf Flygon. No reason really to not go for U-turn. I don't think he would sack his Infernape to an Earthquake that early in the game, even though he was like mad at the Hex or something. But definitely like preserving this is definitely in his best interest because it's one of the few months that can actually like revenge kill Zapdos as well as Greninja with the Vacuum Wave. So I U-turn out, he switches into Donphan, and I take this as an opportunity to go into my Gran here. I contemplated surfing here. Pretty much no drawback play because if he goes into Ment, I can just Dark Pulse it on the next turn, knowing that he can't knock me out, unless he's like Draco Meteor and specially offensive. But I decided to get up a Spike to like just punish Magearna, Infernape, and Absol, like his 3 biggest offensive threats coming in. I know I guarantee Oko this with the Surf if he's physically defensive, but I don't care. Like I just go for a Spike and he reads that, goes for the Earthquake, but I chew it, so that's fine. Yes, Gran being weakened is not that cool, but it's not the end of the world either. Brings him back in his Infernape, and I know the Vacuum Wave is coming. It's like guaranteed his play here. If I had the Water Shuriken, I would have tried to go for 4 hits here, but I can just go into Gallade on the Vacuum Wave, making the offensive switch again. Like this is the beauty of not hyper off, offense, of bulky offense. Like I could have stayed in and tried to like overpredict or just like sack this mon because Grant pretty much did its job, but no reason to sack it if I like have the right switch and if I know a mon choose the attack that is coming and puts up offensive pressure again. So I can just go for the Zen here as he goes into Mance, which seems to be his designated switch in. I can Zen, but he gets intimidated off, and I miss. Unfortunate because I don't identify a set. It's set, but it's like that's pretty much it. I can just go into my Pillow Swine, chew any attack. If he Dragon Dances up, I can like just attack it with 2 Ice Shots and live obviously any hit he wants to throw at me. And yeah, take the Aerial Ace that's does 17.4, reveals to me that he is not invested in attack, so I can just go for the Icicle Crash, even if he Draco Meteors that bounces, that's like 40 or something with my investment. And he brings an Absol, he like kinda had to choose a sack here because even if Ape comes in, it takes like spikes, which would put him in at like 60, no, it wasn't like 80, 67.7%, then he would have taken 20, 25 from the Icicle Crash, which would have put him at like 50, below 50, and then he would have gotten a life or pit off on my Zapdos switch or my Gallade switch, and then like would have been in a bad spot again. So, and it would have been pretty low. And now I can just Ice Shot to knock out the Zapdos. Absol, he doesn't go for the Sucker Punch. Would have done shit damage anyway. Probably his best play was to go for the knockoff here to cover the Clef switching as well as like me staying in. But I get rid of Absol, and it's like pretty clean for Gallade because now Gallade can't get revenge by anything on his squad. I still live an aerial ace from Man. So now Ape comes in, and if Ape has Focus Blast, he needs one of the 4 highest rolls that he can get to outcome you. I'm at 171%, 171 HP, and that's pretty much a 75% chance for me to live this Focus Blast. Adding the like 30% chance to that he misses the Focus Blast is like let's say 75 times 3, like yeah, I don't even know, like an 87% chance or so that I miss. Yeah, something like that. No, 77% chance that I miss. My math is kind of off, but maybe I'm completely wrong. But it's like very heavily in my favor that I that I lift this and or like not even get hit. So I just go for the earthquake. He goes for the focus blast, hits and gets a max roll to knock on my or like close to max roll to knock on my pillar swan. Not the end of the world. Like yes, it would have been nice for Mans, but now that I know that it's not offensive, Clef easily beats it. I can go back into my Gallet again. Go for the Zen head. See Fire Blast me, does 57. And I Zen him into Oblivion. Ape is gone. Now I'm at 5 and 2, and now like depending on his Magiana set, unaware Clef can win this match on its own potentially. I go into Clef on his Aerial Ace. He does 22. Um, I go for the Fire Blast here, bring him to switch out. He predicts a double from my end. Doesn't get it. Probably tries to set himself up for last one again. Now I Moonblast because I think, yeah, maybe he just wants to sack it. I do 15, so this like max HP. And he has leftovers, so this means I can come up and I actually outspeed. And I'm like, I outspeed this thing. So at +1 defense, special defense, he can't 2 KO me with Flash Gun. That's nice. That's pretty clean. And he comes up on his own. And I'm like, yes, this is GG because I'm unaware Cliff. His stat boost, I don't care at all for them. I goes to +2. I will go for the Fire Blast and Fire Blast this Magiana down to 5% and can knock it out with the Moonblast on his next turn. This Cliff, as designed, is able to take on this Magiana if he like. I knew it would have been able to take on Karma and Magiana, and it is obviously able to pick off this man. He had no move to do damage to me, and I will be able to win this match 5-0 in a very quick offensive game, just how I like it. Yes, the Parasol got to were unfortunate. Still, good game, Sebby. You had a great season. I think he made playoffs as the second seed with an 8-4 record. Very solid indeed. And yeah, like I just think like God definitely would have like fucked up my Zapdos there, but that like it definitely like let's play Theory Morning real quick. Let's say God would have beat would have 1v1 Zapdos and get to like +6 or something, um, which he didn't even need to do because then he plays around with crits and shit like that. But let's say he did that, and I could have brought in Clef on the next turn, go for the Carmine. His Side Shock would have done 20, 25 maybe. I get to +1 and 2 at KO this got there. Maybe 2 +2. Probably would have been forced to heal block on one turn or the next. He probably would have side shocked on my first command, then heal blocked on my second, and then like I would have 2 KO'd him. So he would have gotten me to like 50 with 2 side shocks, and would have been 2 KO'd by my clef. And then like what comes in? Absol, Dawnfan, Mens? No. Magiana? I beat it 1v1. Infernape, no, it's special. So only if he had Iron Tail on Absol or Iron Tail on Mens, which I don't think he had because he didn't click it versus me. Only if he had the Iron Tail on Absol, he had a chance of revenging me. So had he 1v1 my Zapdos with Gothita, Clefable probably would have won the game from there. Um, as simple as that. So I don't know how much the Paras on Goth mattered, but definitely like put him in a bad mood from the beginning of the game and made him like probably play too aggressive. But overall, I'm happy with the very happy, yeah, very happy with the how the team performed, like exactly how I imagined it when I built it, and yeah, I'm like very happy to finally make it back to the finals. It's been a while, haven't made the finals in the NPL since season 1, and we are actually gonna face my boy Eric Easy E and his Reno Reggie C, be it Illusion and Omega Jolteon to make it to finals as the number 4 seed. He kicked out a 10-2 squad as well as a 9-3 squad. So pretty crazy player run by Eric, and I'm looking forward to facing him in the finals. It's probably the finals opponent I would have preferred the most, not because like I think he's bad or anything. I think he's a very solid player, but I think I like my matchup versus him, and I think that even if I lose my finals matchup, I can be happy for Eric if he wins the title because Eric is a great guy. So that should be a fun one. As I said, GG to Sebby, had a great season. Sadly, this time wasn't enough for him to make it to finals again. Can't repeat this time around, but still a very solid performance once again. Um, yeah, I think that's it. We're already 44 minutes in, man. This was a long video, but um, as I said, like, hope you guys enjoyed. I head into the finals with a 2-0 plus 10 plus 10 record pretty much in playoffs. Like, got two 5-0 wins, and I hope I can keep it up and finally claim my second NPL title. I've been dying to win this league again since I felt like I got robbed of the title in season 2, 3, and 4 because I always got hexed out of playoffs. But yeah, this time I'm definitely trying to win it all. And looking at how happy, how lucky I got in the playoffs, like I don't think any of the hacks that I got mattered, but like just not getting hacks on my own is like pretty clean. So yeah, that's like it's probably like some good karma for for the future. But we'll see how that goes. Battling Eric is gonna be funny. Celesteela, Mega Venusaur, and some other stupid threats on the squad. But we will come prepared, and I have not forgiven him the Celesteela snipe during the draft. So I'm definitely on a vengeance there and try to win my ninth title in the format. So thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end, hope you guys leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed, and I catch you in my next video. See ya.